Hello and welcome guys to this masterclass. My name is Nishita Agarwal and I'm so excited to welcome each one of you to this very amazing, very powerful and very strong masterclass. In this masterclass, what I'm going to be basically covering is how do you use the power of Reels? How do you use the power of the new algorithm changes? How do you really use Reels to its full potential as a business owner, as a coach owner, as an influencer on the platform, and how do you really get inside this and get viral? And for those of you who are big on Instagram, for those of you who are just starting on Instagram, or for those of you who are actually planning to start on Instagram, I bet that this is exactly what you're looking for. So let's just get started. This is heavily packed with a lot of value. So make sure actually to, grab a pen, grab a notebook, or probably grab something that is really easy for you to take notes on. Make sure to pause this masterclass whenever you feel like, to repeat it, to listen to it again and again if you feel like you're not getting a concept really right in your mind. Now, something that we're really going to cover in here are the four very important and major things, and those are content research, content mistakes, content delivery, and content publishing. And these are basically the four pillars when it comes to creating the viral content reels. And it's so very important, no matter which niche you belong to, no matter where basically you belong to globally, because this is exactly the format that every single reel must follow to get viral. And there's a lot of things that I'm going to be covering in here, but everything will always tie back to these four pillars. So remember these very important four pillars, which is content research, content delivery, content mistakes, and content publishing. Now, before I even get started, I actually want you all to just look at your screen and look at the biggest wins that some of my previous clients have gotten using my formulas of Reels. As you can see on your screen, I've actually screenshotted some of their most viral videos that they've created and actually, broken down step for step how they were able to achieve such big measures, how they were able to achieve such big milestones, because I want you to be achieving similar or more, because it's always this or more from here. Now, I also have a very special surprise for you, and you wouldn't actually want to miss it, because this is so powerful, this is so required. And again, by the feedback on your screen, that you can already see that this is completely filled with amazing value, and it's completely for free again. So a special surprise for you just from me. I am offering a 50 plus captions hook free guide that you can definitely be using with your reels, and with that I am also offering 50 plus ideas to create content free guide. So both of these guides are available completely for free, and all that you have to do is just open them, download them, and really understand how things work around. Stop beating around the bush, stop DIYing it, stop googling it. Just take these two guides and really for once allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to achieve the kind of things that you really should be. And I really want you to take these two guides. I mean, these are such great valuable guides that I have created. These have helped so many people. Over 1,000 people inside my Facebook group already have access to it. So how do you really get access to it? It's really simple. You just have to head over to the link, which is www.engagebetter.net/free resources. These are completely free resources available on my website. You just have to sign up as a member for free. I'm repeating this. Sign up as a member for free by clicking on the Boss Me Up tab. It is completely for free, tailor-made, custom-made, especially for an amazing, actionable, soulful, passionate coach, influencer, or business person like you. And you will then get an email ID confirming your subscription. So this is completely for free, and not only will you get access to these two guides, but you will also get access to many more free resources, guides, templates, and whatnot. So Are you as pumped as I am? Because I just cannot wait to even get you started. Right now, we haven't even, delved into the goodness, into the richness, into the nutrition that this masterclass is going to be providing you all. I am so excited, and I'm sure that you are too. So let's get into it. So here we are on our very, very, very first pillar, and that is content research. Now, I want you to take a minute and just note down every single word that you basically see on your screen, or take a screenshot of it, because I'm actually going to be using these three words so much more times, so many more times in the entire presentation, in the entire masterclass, that I don't want you to get confused between these three things. These three things are very, very important when it comes to your business, when it comes to your content, when it comes to your messaging, when it comes to what exactly are you providing, what exactly are you doing here, what kind of a person are you, what are your values. It really ties down to completely your brand, your personal brand, your professional brand, and whatever it is that you are going to be offering. So completely, please, just take a moment. If you're trying to kind of tackle a lot of tasks right here, just for this moment, concentrate here, because we're gonna get started and it's gonna be heavy. So let's get started. What you see on your screen are these three very valuable words: niche, audience, and value. A lot of times people just overlook them because they're like, well, I hear it in every single YouTube video. Probably I just need to hop on another trend and make another saucy kind of a video. Well, that's not true. You really need to understand that these are the three very important pillars when it comes to content creation. Now, why did I actually call this content research? So let me actually take you alongside. Niche, audience, and value. Okay, and right now I'm actually going into the step-by-step formula as to how you can be creating reels that are actually going to convert into viewers, followers, customers, and so on. So niche plus audience plus value is all that's going to give you a storyline, and I'm going to actually explain this in a bit, but I really want you to be on the same line as I am, and draw this diagram with me. So niche plus audience plus value gives you a storyline, and that is what gives you a 30-second reel. But here is what I have seen with so many people. They firstly think about that 30-second reel, and then they think about the storyline, and then they'll think about their niche, audience, or value, and that is where they are going wrong. Every single time when I sit to create my content, I see who I am, I see what my values are, I see what kind of what kind of nourishment do I want to give into my community, I see who my audience is, I see who exactly am I going to be speaking to, who am I going to be bringing this value, and then I'm really going to be looking at what kind of problems do they face. Now if you kind of reverse it, and then if you say that, oh okay, I want to create a video today, and if you start speaking on absolutely any random topic, well, let me tell you one thing: it might work for one time, two time, but it won't work for a very long time, because people get to know if you're a master at a lot of things but not really a professional at anything at all. They get to know if you're not an expert, and I want you to understand that whatever we're going to be doing right here on this platform has to be authentic, has to be done with integrity, it has to be done with the purpose to serve somebody. So you really need to understand that you have to stick to your niche, you have to always provide value to your audience. You need to understand what kind of a value are you providing, and you need to stay consistent with that storyline, and only then can you be creating a 30-second reel, which is not going to be some random piece of video that you're going to be creating. It's going to be so powerful. It's going to actually not only attract those eyeballs, not only get those impressions, not only is it going to be pushed by the algorithm, but it's actually going to bring in probably a smile, probably a heart, probably it's going to actually make someone realize that they can be doing what you're talking about. They can actually inspire someone to take an action, and that's exactly what content should feel like. Now, something that I actually want to move on to is content mistakes that I see. And please really try and understand Look at the slides. There's a reason why I made these slides so very simple, why I made them so very lucrative. That's because I want you to understand this is not some random audio podcast that you listen to and then you forget about. This is so very important. This is basically a part of the kind of formats that I teach my students, and I'm actually bringing that to you. So try and understand this. What are the content mistakes that you're currently making when it comes to your reels? And here are the three things that I've already talked about: niche, value, and audience. Now look at the figures that I've drawn below. You have, let's take a summary here, let's take a case study here, let's take an example here, because it's always so much more easier to learn from examples rather than just talking about everything theoretically, and then when you come to practical life you basically have no idea. So we're taking here an example of a person who's into dancing niche. Now I completely agree that dancing is, or being a dance coach is a very 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 big umbrella niche kind of a thing. But let's for a minute assume that you're a dance coach, you're a dancer, and you teach people to dance. Now, I am in no way saying that you can't niche down, because there's so many more things. There's so many dance forms. There's so many people, different kind of people that you could be helping within your different kind of dance forms and all of that. But let's for a moment, keep all of that aside and just for a minute, let's try and really focus on the fact that you're a dancer, you're a dance coach, and you help other people do that. Okay, keeping that into our perspective right now. And what you basically, kind of create content about are the moves, the dance steps, the dance rehearsals, the dance routines. You talk about the songs and how can people really, match things, and how people are not able to match the songs to the steps and all of those things, very, very important things. And then you talk about technique and how to not get hurt while you are dancing, all of those things, right? So, right now you have a niche, right? Okay, of course. I mean, here is the thing that I really want you to understand. I have put a question mark around niche for a reason, and I'll tell you that in a bit. But you are providing value and you have an audience if you're doing that right now. Why have I actually put a question mark right next to niches? Because I want you to understand that there are a lot of dancers. How are you actually going to prove an expertise in front of that audience? And you can only do that if you really speak your truth, if you really come from a place of serving your audience, if you really know well who are you going to serve, who have you probably served, or what is really your hero story. If you are aware about these facts, only then can you actually validate your niche, and only then you'll have an USP which will allow you to win. So that's the reason we have a question mark right next to niche. But for a moment, let's actually take you forward, and I'll tell you what the mistake right here a lot of people do. And can you actually see the number of question marks have increased, because we're diving deep into this. Let's say, for example, the same dancer coach or the dancer has now moved on to nutrition and diet, and that is such a big mistake that I have also seen with so many people. They start to talk about very, very specific things that a nutritionist would probably talk about. And they start to talk about why sugar is bad, why salt needs to be balanced, and all of those things, right? So from a dancer, from their dance routines, they all of a sudden start to talk about nutrition and diet. And can you understand this? And can you look at the question marks for a minute? And I want you to really pay attention to that. The niche is a question mark now. The audience is a question mark now, and the value is a half and a half. Why? Because you are providing value, but because your audience and niche look so questionable. And why does it actually look questionable? It looks questionable because now your content is all over the place. And as soon as your content starts to become all over the place, you confuse the hell out of the person who's actually listening to it or who's actually consuming it. I mean, how would you feel if Domino's randomly decides one day that it wants to serve authentic Japanese food? Will you actually kind of go bonkers because 1 minute Domino's was giving you good pizza, it was giving you good pasta, it was giving you good dishes, what it's actually good at, and the next second it just decides to become an authentic Japanese restaurant, and now you're like, what am I going to go for my pizza? And that's exactly the kind of confusion that you lead to you provide your audience with, and it really messes up things. And it not only messes with the kind of audience that you have, but it messes up with the algorithm a big time as well. Now, further on, and I have seen a lot of people do this as well, and that is when you completely shake the entire system. The niche is a question mark, the audience is a question mark, and the value is a question mark. Just for a minute, I want you to, take a look at this slide and see for yourself how many of you can actually relate to the questions I'm posing in this slide. And for those of you who are asking, I'm actually having my tea right now, so cheers. All right. So, okay, I see a lot of answers here. I completely understand that social media does not come easy to people. And right now, a lot of you are just having this really clear, vivid, revelatory moment where you're like, oh my god, that has been me my entire life on social media. I probably started with one thing, then completely shifted to another thing, and then completely hopped back to some other thing because I felt like that was trendy, or probably I felt like I wouldn't grow there, so I, started with some other thing. And that is the reason why I am not being able to be an expert, and that's the reason my audience isn't growing. Oh my god, this is all now making sense. Taking you back to the case study that we were on, let's assume the dancer actually, went to becoming a nutritionist, and then from the nutrition part, the dancer actually said, oh, okay, I'm going to be a health coach. Now, try and understand this before, you're like, what's actually wrong with that, Nashada? I want you to actually understand this really well. And here is what the problem is. When people followed you because you were teaching them dance moves, dance routines, and value related to being a dancer, they were really committed to that. But then when you shifted to nutrition and diet, a lot of people were like, well, where's the dance content? And those people who were only there for you because they wanted the dance videos dropped off. Then those people came in which were, in it for the nutrition and diet. Good enough. I mean, if that's the kind of change that you wanted to make, great. But now you cannot expect both of those people to be there. You cannot expect, the same dancers to kind of move along with you because they were really there only for the dancing things. Well, if the question in your brain now is, well, Nishita, don't dancers want to learn more about nutrition? Well, yes, but what you're actually taking away from them is more dance routines, more things to know about dances and all of that. And also, your approach has not been correct. If rather you would have, posed or created your content in such a manner that things that dancers needs to eat, things that dancers really need to eat for their strength, for their flexibility, kind of nutritional needs that dancers need. If that is how you would have actually messaged your content, things have looked very different. But because you went into the nitty gritties, you actually ruined the entire bridge yourself. And then when you transitioned into being a health coach, you further complicated it. And this is something that I have seen with so many people. So many people start from being something, end up being something, and then they're confused. They're confused not only about who they are, what are they offering, they're also confused about why is no one responding to their offers? Why is nobody saying yes when they're talking about a freebie, even though it's completely free? Why are things looking so complicated? That's because you've changed your messaging so many times that it looks so very confusing. And I know that you guys are like, oh my god, just thank you so much for telling me about this, because that's been me for a very hot minute. I actually have more to share, so I will be jumping right on to the next part of this. But if you actually want to take more time just to understand how these three things come together, just take a moment to stay on this slide. I will be continuing on with more because I have so much to offer inside this masterclass. things that are very, very important when it comes to content delivery, specifically for viral reels, are the following: music, effects, trends, transitions, and on-screen titles. And you just cannot fight anyone over these things. I mean, these are so very important, and I'll take you exactly onto why are these even important, why are these so crucial. You need the music because that's how exactly the algorithm works. Algorithm sorts them out and algorithm explains it. So don't try to fight the algorithm on it, but use the algorithm in your advantage. Now, effects are very important because it really helps you, allows you to capture the idea very vividly, to capture the idea in a manner which stays unique to you. Trends are very important. If you do not really understand why trends are important, I really want you to go inside your industry, go inside your niche, and really see what are the top players doing and how are they using trends to their benefits, and then you will be able to make sense out of why they're always the top players and how come they're always on, on almost like they've done all the trends, they've done all the popular things, and they're still on the top. That's because and there's this quote which I would like to say here: if you do not update yourself, or if you do not actually keep on changing and kind of adapting to the changes that are happening, well, then nobody's going to like you. So I always want you to stay up to date to the trends. Now, I'm not going to say that if you have a very weird trend that you do not like, jump onto it, but probably you can talk about it. If you do not like it, if it's something that's very destructive in nature, very toxic in nature, talk about it. But always be aware. It's almost like a news for the media. Now, transitions are very important, and don't fight anybody on that. Transitions just make the 30-second look and feel more. It's very much more impactful when a video, which is just 30 seconds, has great transitions. And on-screen titles are very important because everybody actually uses their phone on mute. So when you put those on-screen titles, it gives the person a reason to actually sit through your video. Now, there is no lie that people have a very, very short attention span, and you could actually be one of them. So it is for your advantage, for your benefit, that you should be adding these on-screen titles. Take a little more time just to play with the raw footage of 30 seconds, and adding all of these things will add so much more strength and almost like an ace card to it so that it goes viral. Now, the very last step, but this is so important that I actually want you to take a minute here. It always comes down to content publishing, right? And I just cannot even tell you how very important this is, because it's really important for you to understand that if whatever you create is not brought in front of the right kind of people, it's going to go waste. And this is what I see on a regular basis with so many creators, influencers, and businesses. You need to know how to put your content in front of the right kind of eyeballs, right? So I actually, narrowed it down to only 5 particular things that I want you to understand. Very, very basic: captions, hooks, hashtags, cover, and time. And these are very important, but most of you are missing out on this. Captions are very, very important when it comes to reels. A lot of people, just put random quotes or random lines, or probably just, would just not even think about it. They would put these emojis which just does not make sense right there in the captions and call it a day. But I want you to take a minute, type down something important, type down about your offer, type down about your service inside your captions, see what kind of a change it brings to your business. Hooks are needed because nobody's going to read your caption unless it's attractive. So make it attractive, boss. Hashtags are so important. Do not miss out their power. Stop listening to anybody who says that hashtags are old and do not work. Just do not listen to all those YouTubers that you might be following and all of that. Hashtags are important on Instagram, and that is it. That's the tea. I mean, drink it. Hashtags are important. They get you a lot of exposure. But again, you need to be using the right kind of hashtags. You need to know and understand what kind of limits there are on hashtags and all of those things. A cover is very important when it comes to reels because it actually increases the CTR. And if you don't know what a CTR is, a CTR simply is click through rate. If a person does not click on your reel, they're not going to watch it. So it's again something that's really going to hook them into watching it. And time. And I just cannot, even tell you exactly how important the timing is. You need to get the most out of your content. Plus, you also need to get the most out of your current following. So it's not only about getting new people. It always starts with your current following. That's how the Instagram algorithm works, and that's how exactly how you start. So I really hope that this masterclass was something that you enjoyed, completely utilized for your absolute advantage, because I want you to use the power of reels. I mean, it's been said, it's been done, but I want you to start doing it. Become the creator, use the power of the algorithm to your advantage. Stop being at the mercy of it and start ruling it. So that is it. If you guys loved it, let me know. If you guys loved it, please let me know. And that is it. I'll see you guys soon again with another masterclass. That is me, Nashita Agarwal, signing out. Bye guys.